A reading from St. Paul's letter to the Ephesians chapter 6. Brothers and sisters, draw your strength from the Lord and from his mighty power. Put on the armor of God so that you may be able to stand firm against the tactics of the devil. For our struggle is not with flesh and blood, but with the principalities, with the powers, with the world rulers of this present darkness, with the evil spirits in the heavens. Therefore, put on the armor of God, that you may be able to resist on the evil day, and having done everything, to hold your ground. So stand fast with your loins girded in truth, clothed with righteousness as a breastplate, and your feet shod in readiness for the gospel of peace. In all circumstances hold faith as a shield, to quench all the flaming arrows of the evil one. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. With all prayer and supplication, pray at every opportunity in the Spirit. To that end, be watchful with all perseverance and supplication for all the holy ones, and also for me, that speech may be given me to open my mouth, to make known with boldness the mystery of the gospel, for which I am an ambassador in chains, so that I may have the courage to speak as I must. In recent years, we see much social unrest in the West. In this unrest underlie many social injustices and evils. Against these problems have many activists and citizens courageously risen to fight, and the Church and fellow Christians actively participate in this fight. The contribution of Christians takes no small part in many campaigns against socioeconomic problems. But St. Paul reminds Christians of the spiritual reality of Christian battles. He says, "For our struggle is not with flesh and blood, but with the principalities, with the powers, with the world rulers of this present darkness, with the evil spirits in the heavens." What are these principalities, powers, world rulers, and evil spirits? Traditionally, these names are of the classes of angels, and here, these are the fallen angels, in other words, the angels of Satan. Is St. Paul discussing exorcism? As we read the Ephesians, we realize he is not. The struggles in the Ephesians include all aspects of the Christian faith and moral life. These struggles are not only private and personal, but also public and social. And all humanity shares these struggles. What St. Paul wants to remind us is that every evil we wrestle with has Satan's influence, and thus that we need to combat it as a spiritual warfare against this external source of evil. In other words, it will be a mistake if we assume that we can resolve personal and social problems by only human measures such as morality, law, and government. As we see in our times, new morality, new laws, or new forms of government cannot bring true peace to individuals or societies. One of the premises of secular humanism is that evil originates from the man only. Secular humanism denies the external sources of evil, such as Satan and his demons, just as it denies God as the source of good. Therefore, secular humanism or practical atheism attempts to design human measures to control evil. But as St. Paul teaches, this attempt is destined to fail because it ignores the reality. This is why St. Paul urges us to be armed with truth, righteousness, the gospel of peace, faith, salvation, and the Word of God. Only with spiritual armor of God can we fight the battle. Let us not forget that Satan wants confusion, unrest, destruction, and eventually annihilation. And we see his attempts everywhere. This generation does not understand moral concepts. Young people cannot believe that truth can exist. Families are deconstructed and reconstructed in perverse ways. The past civilizations are cancelled by today's taste. As much real as God is, so is Satan, and he diligently works to destroy God's creation. The war against him is not ours only, it is God's. Let us put on his armor of his Spirit.